Corey Miller, kind enough to join us. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, so I was told, pastor of pain.
You know what? This is weird because I was doing a little local radio station, Phil Kornblut,
Yeah.
and we did football Fridays, Gamecock Fridays, and I would jump on the show with him, and he was like, man, Reggie White is the minister of defense. I was like, yeah, he was. And he said, you a preacher? You are the pastor of pain. And I'm like, that got some buzz to it, right? Yeah. And so I didn't think nothing about it. So when I had my radio show and I got into TV, and everybody started calling me that, pastor of pain. I go out in public. Nobody calls me Corey anymore. So if you call me Corey in public, I wouldn't even turn. But if you said pastor of pain, I'm like, what's up?
That's great. Mm-hmm. Absolutely great. So I met your son.
Yeah.
We went rabbit hunting together.
Oh, boy.
Not long ago.
Did you kill anything?
Some, yeah. And the property actually is no longer owned. It used to be my cousin's property down in Foster's, Alabama, right below Tuscaloosa, right actually west.
Foster's, I know what it is.
Yeah, so we used to go there all the time and slay them, but I don't know what they've done with the rabbits. I guess more coyotes.
Oh, boy, kill those things too.
Yeah,
please.
I know. So, but what a great person you raised.
Yeah,
very
thank
impressive
you.
son.
Well, Christian is such an amazing kid. Both my boys, I love them to death. Corey Jr., Christian, they grew up in Columbia, and Christian, was a skater. And, he loved to skateboard and turn flips and do all this crazy stuff. And he was just tall and skinny, but he was very athletic. He loved soccer. And so when he started to play football, which was about 4 or 5 years old, when I was coaching the Pop Warner League, his older brother, I wasn't supposed to have him out there. And so I told his mother, I said, I'm going to let him play. I'll monitor and just teach him the basic fundamentals of the game. And so we were doing tackling drills one day, and I said, okay, Christian, you got to hit, John over here. John's about 2 or 3 years older. And I said, remember Daddy told you got a bigger guy. What do you hit him? He said, I hit him in the legs. I said, can't run without his legs. I said, yes, sir. So the kid handed him the ball. He takes off, and he lowers his shoulder, and he just drills Christian. And Christian's crying. I'm like, oh, my God, I hope I didn't get my son hurt. They're going to send me to jail. What am I going to tell the mom? And,
yeah, mama going to get you.
And I'm like, that's it. You're not playing no more. You're not practicing no more. And he's like, no, Daddy. He said, no. I'm going to go again. You said hit him in the legs. And I said, okay. And I put him back. He jumped right back in there, hit the guy and cut him at 5 years old. And I said, son, you got what it takes to be a great football player. And he ended up working his tail off.
So how did he end up at Alabama?
Well, Chris Rumpf was
right.
Played at South Carolina. He was the defensive line coach at Alabama. Well, we knew each other, and then he always kind of followed him a little bit. And he reached out to me. Chris was getting recruited by Florida. Matter of fact, he committed to Will Muschamp at Florida first.
Oh, wow.
Brad Loing, who coached me at South Carolina, was working with Will at the time. So, yeah, but we reached out, and actually Chris reached out, and Kirby got involved, and they loved him. The game was changing. It was fitting guys like Christian. Alabama had the big thumping linebackers.
Right.
That wasn't Christian. Christian was 212 and 6'4". But the game was evolving that they needed pass rushers. They got to get longer and faster on the outside. And Nick took a little while to get that.
Yeah,
you got to change. And then he ran into Johnny Manziel and some of these folks. They got to slow down,
everybody, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, but that's what happened. And he's like, we got to change, and we need some long, lengthy guys that can rush the passer. And they loved him. And Christian was an outstanding student, and he loved Alabama and loved Coach Saban. And he didn't mind sitting and waiting 2 years. That was the thing. Other people, hey, you can play right away. We said no. He needs to get in the weight room.
And as being a player, waiting it's not so bad.
No.
They wear you out if you start too.
Waiting is good. I mean, for him especially, there's a few players like the Jadeveon Clowneys that I saw that can come and play anywhere.
Right.
He was a grown man. I mean, the kid at Rocky Hill High School, South Point, and he playing basketball. I'm like, this dude looks like he's 38 years old playing against 15-year-olds. He could do that. But guys like Christian Miller, 2 years, with Coach Cochran at the time, weight room, just growing up, right? He was 17 years old when he first got to Alabama. 17.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
I mean, so it was the right decision. I mean, listen, this dude, the captain, and end up starting. You get drafted. He graduated in 3 years. He got his master's in 4 years. And this is the model. I think every coach should say, this is what student athletes should be about, right?
And I've said on this show for years, as much as Coach Saban's changed football, he's changed the back end of it.
Yeah.
Making sure the kids go to class and graduating.
Yeah.
That he's changed that more than anybody. And everybody's doing it now.
And now it's getting even crazier with the NIL and transfer portal. And, listen, but Coach Saban, he evolves. He gets it. He understands it. But listen, if you want to leave your kid a kid and then make him a man and understand hard work, dedication, toughness, we talk about the process, I would tell any kid, this is the way to do it. You don't have to go and start for 4 years anymore. You can go to schools like Alabama and play 1 year and get drafted high.
In the first round.
In the first round. I mean, think about this. Look what Williams did. He goes to Ohio State. They say the fifth, sixth best wide receiver. He transferred 1 year. Hurts his knee. Blows his knee out. Paid. I mean, so.
What about, remember Quentin Williams?
Yeah.
For the Jets, and he played 1 year at Alabama.
I mean, Quentin, you see these things, man. I mean, so it's all about transitioning and teaching. I think we've gotten away from the fundamentals a little bit. Now we're a little bit too happy-go-lucky with some of these guys, and we got to teach them about responsibility and hard work and what it takes. Because when you get to the National Football League, if you have that chance, if you're a 1%er or less than a 1%er, you got to understand the NFL means not for long. I mean, if you don't have the
It was
the
my
mindset,
coach that Jerry Glanville comes on this show.
Yeah.
He's the one that made the moniker was always there, made it famous.
Not for long, bro. So, NFL, yep, not for long. So
it's all about what you do the rest of your life, what you're going to do.
Well, you build so many great relationships and you learn so much, because I think football is a microcosm of life, right? It just is.
Absolutely.
And I take a lot of things that I've learned throughout college into pros, and I apply them to my life today. The same principles of what it took for me to get from Pageland, South Carolina, a town of 2,000 people, to Columbia, South Carolina, a Division I program, to the New York Football Giants, and play almost a decade in that league. What got me there? It's the basic fundamental, of the hard work, dedication, responsibility, making good choices, sometimes saying no when you don't want to. I mean, there's a lot of different things that when I tell these kids today that I minister to, these things that it's going to take you. It's hard. Success doesn't come easy. It's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you some fun. It's going to cost you time, but it's okay. It's rewarding, so – it's the same principles that I live with. I try to pass along to my kids and to the kids that I mentor with today.
So, favorite coach at the Giants?
Favorite coach? Ooh, that's a good one. Definitely wasn't Bill Parcells, boy. But he hated rookies. We got drafted and. They call you and they fly you in, all the rookies. We're at the Sheridan across from the Meadowlands, and Bill walks in and he addresses all of us, and he goes, I don't like any of you. I hate rookies. He said, and I don't need any of you. You as a rookie, he's like, what are you talking about? It was back when he was 13 rounds, and he said, I don't care if you was a first rounder or a 13th rounder. You have no guarantee of making this football team, because I don't need any of you. Bleep, bleep. He said, we just won the Super Bowl, and I'll take every guy that we had last year and win again. So I don't need you. So the bus going to be at 7. If you own it, fine. If you don't get on it, I don't care either. So it wasn't Bill.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm like, whoa, this is the NFL.
Yeah.
And, but no, it's
you didn't sleep very good that night.
No, but I knew I had to be on that bus. And I knew that they had 8 linebackers, and they drafted 2 in front of me. And, I knew I had work to do. But I was just with LT last week in a celebrity golf event in Pennsylvania. And he said he was telling Beasley Reese, another former Giant, he said, that dude right there played every linebacker position. So in the 3-4, there was not one position that I could not play. And you know what? I learned every single one of them because I knew the more that I could do, the better opportunity I had to play.
Absolutely.
6th round pick, 167th overall pick.
Isn't that something?
10 years. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
10 years.
You know, it's I was with this me, Lawrence Taylor, Seth Joyner, Greg Lloyd, who lives right here in Atlanta, Ricky Jackson, Mike Merriman, Andre Tippett, Patrick Sapp, who played at Clemson. All of us, we had like a line, Lawrence Taylor. It was amazing. And we sat around one night at 3:30 in the morning talking about football and how what's wrong with the game today versus what it used to be. It was some of the best conversation that I ever had. But, you know, one thing we talked about was the hard work, man. And we talked about the love of the game. I don't think a lot of these kids really love the game. They love Twitter. They love Instagram followers. They love all this other stuff, right? They love to put the tight suits on now with high waters, and they do their thing. Now, I know that's what's happening today. But back in the day, it was grind. It was grind because I had diapers to buy. I had milk to buy. I had to feed them kids, them two boys. Listen, we loved it, though. You know, we played through concussions. We talked about taking all these BAP tests now for CTE and memory. You know, I limp around with 2 bad knees today, but I wouldn't change it.
No, I agree.
I loved the game, and I played the game the right way, and I appreciated the game. And the game is paying me back even today at 53 years old. You know, that's what it's all about.
So, who was your favorite coach? I'm not letting you out of it.
I know. Well, you know.
We know it wasn't Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Al Grove, who coached me at South Carolina, ended up coming to the New York Giants and was defensive coordinator. So I put Al Grove in that conversation. And then I loved Denny Green when I went to Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
Denny Green was the coolest dude, man. And he have our team meeting. We split up and go to our other meetings, and you just hear, you're like, what the heck is that? He had a drum set in his office. You know, he was a drummer.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Denny Green played the heck out of the drums, and we've been.
That's the biggest drummer in captivity.
Yeah, but listen, it was like you go to Minnesota Vikings, man. I left the Giants. It was like, and when I got to Minnesota, it was like, man, this is Country Club USA. Oh, we don't do no tackling. I love Denny Green. He's like, I want you to tackle on Sunday. You know, you grown men, you get paid money. You should know how to tackle. While we're here doing tackling drills, and he was right. So I was like, you know, you're right. We hit on Sunday. That's when you do it.
That's not a bad place to end, right?
Nah, it's good. Johnny Randall. I mean, you know, Chris Dolman, Ed McDaniel. I mean, you know, Robert Smith, Leroy Horde, Randall Cunningham, Jeff George, Andre Reed, Chris Carter. I mean, I just think about those names, man, that we had a great team. They just went like 15-1 the year before and lost, I believe, to Atlanta. I thought we were going to win the Super Bowl, but we got beat by Kurt Warner and the fastest show on turf in St. Louis, 41-38.
Oh,
and
man.
That would have been my last pro football game. Yep, I'll never forget it.
Well, that was a great team.
They were good. I mean, we were a better team. We just that day we couldn't stop nobody. That day we just couldn't. We couldn't stop anything that day, and you know they were wide open, man. They made us run all day long.
So, and kind of along that line, what is the difference? How much of coaching makes the difference, and how much is, as far as a game like that? You know, so one game will be 17-10, and then you have a game like that where you're having tough. It becomes a scoring contest.
I think a lot of it is scheme, you know, because when we saw this offense, it was a different offense than what we've seen, right? So they were innovative. They did stuff. I mean, we line up. We made adjustments. As you know, football is about adjustments. And then they made an adjustment that we didn't know was going to happen. So our coaches didn't do a good job at halftime of making second-half adjustments. And that was the difference. I mean, and we gave up 3 or 4 big plays. I mean, 80-yarders. I mean, Isaac Bruce, one pass on
Very
a slant route.
frustrating.
Oh, my God. The
Defense,
safety falls down and he off to the races. I mean, it was one of those games where you knew that you could not give up big plays. It was like you want them to go the length of the field. You want them to drive. And we gave up 3 or 4 big plays, but we didn't make adjustments. We scored 38 points. I'm a defensive guy. I mean, if your offense scores 38 points, you should never lose a football game, ever. And they brought me in to be a run-stopping outside backer. They didn't run the ball. Marshall Falk, they had good backs, but he was hurting us more in the passing game, more so than in the run game. But anyway, you live and learn. I never won a Super Bowl. I thought I would going to the Giants. They just won a Super Bowl. When I leave, they go back and win another Super Bowl. And then I get to the Vikings. I choose them in free agency because I think this is the best team. I'm at the end of my career. And then I fall short again. Several playoffs.
10 years is amazing in the NFL. I mean, the average player plays, 2.5?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Years.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's you got a lot to be.
I'm very blessed, man. And like I said, you got to learn how to be a pro. And if you don't, you won't last long. You know what I'm saying?
No question.
You got to take care of your body. Now they got all the things, the weights, the nutritionists. They got everything now. Tom Brady can play 42 years. I mean, listen, we were talking about this. I was like, you imagine if the game was back when we played the way it is now? We really wouldn't be tackling because they don't want you to hit nobody. You can't hit in practice,
fall on anybody.
Right? You can't fall
on anybody.
It's crazy.
How do you sack somebody without falling on them?
Right. I mean, you got to go to quarterback and be like a love tap. Tell him Jesus loves him, and then help him up. Jesus love you, and then get up. Okay, that counts as a sack. You know what I mean? So it's one of them things, man. It's like, if we played today, I would have played 20 years. I'm telling you, because when I was a guy that took care of my body back then, and now with the nutrition and all the different things they got, you can't even wear pads back to back. If it's 90 degrees and the humidity is a certain number, you got to go inside. Oh, you got to give 28-year-old Johnny a water break because he don't realize that he needs to stay hydrated and drink water before practice. It's like I told Christian with the Panthers, he was like, "Dad, this was a tough camp," and I just looked at him like, "Yeah, tough." Like every time I saw y'all, you just had a jersey on and a helmet. You couldn't even go back. You don't even have scrimmages.
You don't have 2 days.
You don't have live 9-on-7s and goal line, which we had for an hour one day. I've been in 3-a-day practices. Like we went a full 6 weeks of 2-a-days in camp. We didn't break till the last week, and I'm like, this is hard. Like, don't tell you, man. Don't get me on that rant. So I'll tell these young people, y'all are so spoiled, and you cater to everybody loves you, and you get your little followers and all that stuff, and do your thing. But they don't have the same mentality. I can tell you this. They don't. I mean, I tell them, my son, like, you wouldn't have made it. You wouldn't have made it when I play because it's too hard. I mean, and it took about crazy person to play football.
I can attest to that.
I'm just, you know what I'm talking about, right? You got to be a little loopy, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is.
That.
So, I'm thankful, and God was good to us, and I love coming here and just having a good time and talking ball. That's what I do.
There you go. Mr. Miller, thank you so much
God bless
for
you
your
all.
time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.